This is Next Steps for Seniors with your host, Wendy Jones. Each week, Wendy brings resources and information to help guide you through those next steps with elderly parents and loved ones. If you have questions or topic suggestions, you can call us at 248-651-5010.
Hello and welcome to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and as you all know, each and every week, we just pour information into you because we want you to be prepared as you age. And today is no different. Our topic is what financial peace of mind looks like, a conversation with Greenleaf Trust. And we are very blessed to have in the studio today Bill Feldmeyer, Managing Director, Southeast Michigan. Bill is responsible for leading Greenleaf Trust market strategy of Southeast Michigan, business development, and leadership of the firm's Birmingham office, which is beautiful, by the way. We go way back. Fantastic man. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Wendy. Glad to be here.
And we also have Mike Lasky with us, who is a senior wealth management advisor, MBA Chicago Booth, which is fantastic, and creates goals and really implements, the wealth management plan. So welcome.
Thanks,
Mike.
Wendy. Appreciate it.
And this topic is really near and dear to my heart. I've got to tell both of you, because financial peace of mind as you age, it's priceless. And everybody strives to have it. We work our whole lives saving to go into retirement and enjoy life. And you'd be shocked at how many people have anxiety going into that, right? And Sure. That's why you're here today, because we want to have peace of mind. We want to have a plan. So one of my first questions I have for you and is really about all the different buckets of money people have all over. Anyone listening to the show, and I know I'm guilty of it, you got money in one account, you got something over there, something over here, assets in this place. And half the people don't even know, to be quite honest, where everything's at. What's your thought on that, Bill? What would be some advice to our listeners who have money in all these different places?
Well, having a plan and being organized are two critical components. As you alluded to, as time goes on, you change jobs, life events happen, kids, grandkids, retirement, etc. Money starts to scatter, and whether it's multiple homes, multiple retirement accounts, even the income replacement calculations as you're nearing retirement, how much is enough to retire? How much is going to be passed to your kids? And so having a comprehensive wealth management plan really enables us to provide a continuity of client care for our clients. And it starts with estate planning, tax planning, risk management. All of that encompasses what a wealth management plan looks like.
Right.
And I think adding to the benefits of having a plan. So the money is scattered, like Bill said. Having finances that are fragmented creates anxiety. What we can do for our clients is untangle that web and creating a unified plan that helps, create visibility. We untangled a wide array of accounts. We started coordinating with CPAs and attorneys for a family earlier this week, and we're working to get everything visible on one dashboard. So we went from a mess of statements, different things saved electronic, paper, and we're bringing it all into one place. And then when it's in one place, you can coordinate much easier.
Well, and unfortunately, everyone thinks they can do that on their own, right? I mean, we Google everything. That's our answer. Well, I just need to know how to do that. No, don't try to do this by yourself. I mean, the reality is, yes, you need to be organized, but when you've got, and I'll be honest, I just had a client not that long ago pass away. The husband had no idea all the accounts the wife had. Now, I mean, I'm not blaming it on women, but we women like to have our own little stash somewhere. Well, she had a huge stash he never knew about. So these are the things that meeting with someone like yourself, Mike, and Bill, like you would put that, you said dashboard, together for somebody.
Yeah, looking at a dashboard, we had a sample that we showed this family, and it was actually their son that spoke up. And he said, for the first time, I can see how everything fits together, and I know mom and dad will be okay. That's the anxiety we're talking about, just that concern of not knowing where the assets are, where everything's saved. But bringing it all together just makes everything easier to consolidate and give peace of mind.
Exactly. Yep.
And Wendy, you hit the nail on the head in regards to the ability to do it yourself. We work with a lot of really talented, sophisticated investors who can do it themselves. It's their beneficiaries, it's their spouse who does not have the knowledge of where everything is or even the how-to if the leading spouse in the financial matters becomes incapacitated, even for a short period of time. How do the bills continue to get paid? And, all those other complexities, they don't know where to go. And that's where the advisory piece really helps.
Well, and the sad part, like you said, though, too, is they don't realize this until someone's passed. When you've got a couple that's managing everything together, everything seems fine. But until someone is not there any longer is when they panic. So listeners, please, if nothing else, what's so important is doing this before anything happens. And guess what? You have no idea when that's coming. So plan now. Make the call, right? Get the couple together. Do you include children when you do these? Okay, tell me how that works.
From a financial literacy standpoint, from a generational transfer of wealth, it really is upon the grantor's wishes of how included the beneficiaries are. Some grandparents like to set up generation skipping trust or silent or blind trusts because they don't want the beneficiaries to know what all they're being given. However, there are other families who want that financial literacy talked about at the dinner table, and we bring that to the boardroom, and we even take it to their dinner table as we're out in the communities working with these families to understand what appropriate savings behaviors look like and how to invest and the difference between stocks and bonds and compound interest. And it starts as young as high school, understanding how all of this works as they're getting their first paychecks and what income tax means, et cetera.
And adding to what Bill said just about bringing in the children, oftentimes when a loved one passes, like you asked, there are a lot of emotions at stake too, which isn't usually the best time to be making significant financial decisions that will have an impact lasting decades down to the grandchildren. Getting ahead of it is difficult. No one likes to discuss their passing with, people like a firm like Greenleaf Trust, but it really helps their children and grandchildren down the road.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about, Greenleaf Trust and just, what you do to help people. Because, people think, oh, I have a will, I'm good. Like, what would you say to that?
Great question. Because we have the name trust in our name, we get a lot of inbound phone calls. I want to start a trust for my kids. Well, we're not a law firm. We don't create the documents. However, we are a trust administration firm founded in Kalamazoo, Michigan 26 years ago. And over that time, we've established over 1,400 household relationships with over $20 billion of assets. And trust administration and financial planning is what we do. Being able to assist grantors and wealthy families have a plan, transfer that wealth based on their goals to their heirs.
Yeah, because everybody wants their children, right? Everyone's worried about their children in the next generation. What is going to happen with everything I have, right? They want to make sure there's a plan. And that's why they need someone like you to help them with the plan, right?
And adding to what Bill said, we give a full picture view in terms of their whole financial picture. So many firms like us specialize in investments. These are RIAs and firms that can really help with the portfolio. We do that, but we also give this full picture view, and that gives transparency that can really help the entire family. Why I think that also might be important is, Bill and I were helping a client this week where we were able to solve a tax question while really the conversation started with estate planning and insurance. So by seeing everything all at once, we can really cover the wide array of topics.
The whole picture.
The whole picture, right.
Right, and that's why I love you so much. Honestly, Greenleaf Trust is fantastic because the reality is the big picture is everything and the next generation and how you're going to make a difference. So everyone who calls my office, and this is true story, the three questions we ask are what location are they in? How much money do they have, right? We want to know how much you get coming in on income on a monthly basis and what you have in assets. I can't even begin to tell you guys how many people either don't know that answer or say, I think I get about $3,000 a month, or I think I get about $6,000 a month, or you'd be shocked. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we need to go right back to financial planning 101. Like, you got to know what you have and where it's at. And then they say, well, we didn't do a really good job planning for our future, so I only get my Social Security. And you just want to go, okay, we should have started a long time ago. But that's why you're here today. We need to learn from you We need to understand what we need to do now to be prepared for the future. People always think, what am I going to do when I retire? Well, I'm telling you, what are you going to do? Because 70% of the people need some kind of help as they age. And guess what that help costs? Money. And it's not going to happen, for free. You got to work hard for it. So let's move into what's some of the things that you offer as far as budget awareness and improved cash flow. And we're going to probably move this into the next segment too, because we only got 1 minute left in this program right now.
So the planning process begins with an intake, and Mike, as a senior wealth management advisor, we also have a trust relationship officer and a team service coordinator. That 3-person team encompasses everything that Greenleaf Trust offers to gather as much information from our prospective clients as possible. And it's that intake and discovery process that lays the foundation for Mike to generate a wealth management plan. And we can get into the income replacement details and some of those calculations
in the next
and guidance
segment
from us in the next segment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do me a favor, Mike, share your phone number with me, Bill, or if you want to give a website or how people can get a hold of you, because I do think it's important. Actually, listeners, get your pen and paper ready. We're going to give you that in the next segment. You're listening to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging.
Need a daily spark of hope and direction? Let the Daily Bible app from Salem Media be that spark. This free Android app delivers an uplifting verse each morning, plus reading plans, devotions, and trusted podcasts from leaders like Joyce Meyer and Rick Warren. Prefer to listen instead? The Daily Bible app reads verses, reading plans, and chapters aloud, handy for the headphones moment of your day. Choose from versions like ESV, NIV, KJV, and more, and bookmark favorites to revisit later. Share inspiring messages with loved ones right from the app. Feel God's presence in every notification. Search for Daily Bible app on Google Play and begin your day with hope, purpose, and peace.
Welcome back to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. And I wanted to just let you know our topic, what financial peace of mind looks like, is so near and dear to my heart. And we're blessed to have 2 guests from Greenleaf Trust with us today that are so smart, so wise, and sharing so much great information. But, we talked in the first segment a little bit about, Google and thinking we can do everything ourselves and having all these different bank accounts. And the reality of the situation is that is probably the worst thing you can do.
Right, Wendy. In the first session we talked about the do-it-yourselfers. We also see scenarios where households believe they're diversifying their assets and not putting everything in the same basket, or all your eggs in the same basket. But when you have 2 or 3 or 4 different advisors, think of it like an ailment, and you're going to a doctor. And you see this doctor, the doctor writes you a script for your ailment. But then you want a second opinion. So you go to another doctor, they write you another script for the same ailment. Are you going to take both prescriptions for the same ailment? No, of course not. And so often what we see are households who think they're diversifying their assets, working with multiple advisors, but there's overlap, there's redundancies, there's tax strategies that are not properly executed. One advisor might be selling Coca-Cola when another one's buying Pepsi. Right. And those types of things. So we come across that all the time, but that's one thing I know that would hit home with a lot of people, that getting advice is so important, but not sharing the whole big picture is really where we're able to help clients. And it's okay to have some of your assets with Greenleaf Trust and have assets elsewhere, as long as we know our role and we know what all of your assets are doing for you to reach your goals.
It's so much easier to have one person, like the dashboard, keep going back to that, to have everything together, because like you mentioned, there's something you pick up from another person, right?
And it gives a sense of relief. I work with our clients every day, and at the end of the day, we manage their assets, but it's the journey on how we get there that really matters the most. And then bringing it into a dashboard or one comprehensive financial plan. We get these families, they're aligned, we get them organized. The feeling that they get when they see everything is connected, right? Not different scripts, not different prescriptions, as you said. That means success to us and the clients that we work with.
Financial peace of mind. And get your pen and paper ready. I'm going to give their number to you. It is 248-530-6200. Or you can reach them on their website, which is fantastic online, greenleaftrust.com. Super easy. So I wanted to move in a little bit about budget. We talked about that in the first segment. I wanted to move into that just for a minute. Talk to me a little bit about how you help people budgeting.
Yeah, so with a lot of the families we work with, it comes down to the cash flows that they have, both the expenses going out versus income streams coming in. Today, forecasting that for the future, and then creating awareness. A family I was working with recently, they weren't reckless spenders, but they had unpredictable cash flows, which I think can be relatable to many of your listeners. There wasn't much structure, and for this couple, that was creating sleepless nights. They were okay, but it was that unpredictability that just it was giving them anxiety. I think by working with Greenleaf Trust and having a plan that's goals-based and will start to streamline these cash flows to get some predictability, you could see like a calmness, coming over them. And it's just very nice to see them have that sense of relief and a peace of mind.
Well, and there's a huge number of people, Bill. What's the statistic that don't have something put together properly?
So 11% of Americans 11% of Americans have trust. Right? So that's a big percentage who don't. However, 77% of households who have over $1 million of assets do. And we tend to see households reaching out to us to discuss their trust administration needs for a variety of different options. It could be a blended family. It could be children who are not at the age of majority yet. It could be the lack of financial literacy of their beneficiaries. It could be their grown adult children have scattered all around the country or the world and therefore need Greenleaf Trust to step in as successor trustee and settle the estate. There's a lot of different reasons, and I think it's that peace of mind.
Right.
That knowing that you've got a corporate trustee that can step in on behalf of the beneficiaries and execute what their wishes are.
And you don't even know that you need it until it happens. This is the key thing, seriously.
There are so many people who take on that responsibility and later come to us and say, Mike, or hey, Bill, we didn't know this was going to be a full-time job. And it's unpaid. And that's when Greenleaf Trust can typically step in.
Don't even get paid.
There's emotional issues behind it in terms of distributions to family members, and having an objective, unbiased third party like Greenleaf Trust to serve the family can be a huge asset.
And it can be special needs trust. It can be asset protection trust. We talked in the first segment about blind trust and silent trust. There's a lot of different solutions for everyone's particular needs and scenarios.
I am so grateful for both of you. I hear your passion. I hear your heart. And I know Bill so well, and Mike too. But I really feel, listeners, if you're in a situation where you're thinking, goodness, I really don't have my stuff set up right, will you please make this call? Don't go to Google. Go to Greenleaf Trust. I mean, the reality of the situation is you need someone who cares. You need someone that is smart and has the whole picture, your holistic picture inside. You have relationships with a whole bunch of different organizations, correct?
We do. And, Wendy, my personal goal is to be the first call. And when trust is in our name and a prospective client reaches out and they don't have any of their documents established yet, they're unaware of what Greenleaf Trust does. They just think we would be able to create a trust for them or do their legal documents. We do not, but we do have partnerships and centers of influence where we would happily refer, based on your location, based on the sophistication of your needs, referrals to appropriate estate planning firms, business transaction firms, CPA firms, risk management advisors, et cetera. All those things that make up that continuity of client care and our comprehensive financial planning process.
And truly, this is why I recommend them, because, not everybody can do what they do. But I do feel that you guys do it best because you're looking at every single aspect. And that's what's concerning. When people call our office, they've got all this stuff lined up. And then I'll be like, well, do you have a power of attorney? And they're like, well, no. And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, you have all this done, but you don't have the power of attorney. But that's something you guys would have caught along that plan, right? So it's just important. It's so important. So 3 minutes left in the program. Share, what's the most valuable? Because some people might just be tuning in and they're like, what is this money show? What do I need to know?
When we're talking about planning and giving peace of mind, we're offering a service. We don't have any products to sell. we are fiduciaries who always sit on the same side of the table as our clients. So we can genuinely look our clients in the eye and say, this is what we think is in your best interest. I think that allows Bill, myself, our entire 200-person team at Greenleaf Trust to give the best possible advice that serves our families, and it really allows us to enjoy what we do the most. Our client satisfaction rates are over 99%. We keep our clients because they enjoy working with us, and it's really a great partnership that we form with everyone we work with.
Bill, what about you? Any last minute thoughts too? People who are just tuning in that might not have heard the show, what's the most important takeaways?
As Mike mentioned, the client-centric model, we put our clients first. We're a privately held firm, the client first, employee second, shareholder third mentality is different than a lot of other financial advisory firms out there that are publicly traded. They put shareholder interest first. And I think that's created a core culture and corporate culture of working together, collaborating, and serving clients' needs. And, being recognized as, Crane's best places to work and other things that we do throughout the community, it really is holistic in every aspect.
Well, and let me just add, they give back. You are very philanthropic as an organization. We have a 501c3 Next Steps for Seniors Foundation, and they supported us. I mean, these are the things, because you care about our low-income seniors. And this is important. You want someone who is involved in the community, giving back, and has a heart. So listeners, let me give the number again. I just want to reiterate how important it is really to have a plan and not go on Google and have a trusted advisor and to have someone who really cares about the whole picture. Because the reality is, you'd be shocked how many are out there just for the money. All right. Their phone number, 248-530-6200. And again, greenleaftrust.com. Any last minute words of wisdom? Put a budget together, please. And did you know 90% of the things happen when they're written down? Everybody's got the plan in their head, but they're not writing it down. So you've got to have it written down, and you've got to know what you got. And don't have things in 500 different places, please, because when I'm telling you, it's happened 1,000 times. When someone passes away, you're looking for things. And you're like, oh, I didn't know mom had this insurance, long-term care insurance, when that would have helped pay for half the stuff we just did. And it's so important to understand as you age, everything is out of pocket. You are private paying for everything. So you have got to have everything lined up ahead of time so you are prepared for what the future brings you. And 70% of the people need some kind of care that's going to cost money. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for what you do, Bill. Thank you for what you do, Mike. We need you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy.
All right. Have a blessed day. You're listening to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. Go make a difference.